Hello, so my name is Kayla Irvine, and today we're going to be looking at the history of theater and how it has changed over time. So the first time period we're going to be looking at is ancient Greece. The height in theater for ancient Greece was around 5th century BCE, and during ancient Greece theater, playwriting was considered an important contribution to civic life. These plays were not performed today like we're used to in a theater. They were performed at buildings called theatrons, and these are open-air structures on slopes of hills. These slopes of hills could help enhance the audio because during that time they did not have the microphones that we have with today's technology. So the next time period we're going to be looking at is ancient Rome, and this kind of ties together with the Greek drama because Rome took over some of the Greece land, and when they did that, they encountered the Greek drama, and that helped in turn create the Roman drama. For both Rome and Greece, as they were so long ago, many plays have not survived to this time period, so we do not understand or know a lot about the plays that they did during this time. During ancient Rome theater, comedies became prevalent, and two of the well-known playwrights of this time were Plautus, and he wrote Casina, and Terence. The next time period we're going to be looking at is medieval theater. During this time, mystery plays became popular, and the time period of medieval theater ranged from 1050 to 1500. During this time, liturgical drama was large in most of the world, and medieval theater ended because religious plays were banned. Liturgical dramas, which was the most popular, those are religious plays, and since religious plays became banned, they could no longer perform what was the most popular, so that's what ended this time period. So next we're going to be looking at the Italian and English Renaissance. Okay, so looking at the Italian and English Renaissance, the Elizabethan stage became prominent during this time, and some of the popular playwrights during this time include Shakespeare, infamous Shakespeare, who has written Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, Hamlet, and so many more. And another popular playwright during this time is Christopher Marlowe, who is the playwright of Edward II. Okay, and the next time period we're going to be looking at is French Neoclassicism. This was during the 16th century. Some playwrights are Pierre Corneille and Jean Racine. And French Neoclassicism did not last long, and this is because two major theaters that were part of French Neoclassicism, those theaters actually left Paris. And since these two major theaters left, there was no place for these plays to be performed, so that ended the French Neoclassicism period. So the next time period we're going to be looking at is the English Restoration drama. English Restoration drama took place during the mid-17th century, and as it was an ancient Roman theater, comedies became very popular again during this time. These shows were mostly for upper class because you had to pay to get in to see these plays. The lower class could not afford to pay, therefore they couldn't see them. New types of characters were created. Playwrights were not sticking to only the stock characters as it had mainly been in the past. And the most important part about English Restoration drama is this is the time where women began allowed to be on stage. Before this time, men would act as the female characters, and to me that would just be really hard to believe and understand. So I think that this allowing women to be on stage would not only allow women to be getting into the performing arts, but I think it would also make women want to go see these shows more often, and that would help boost the sales of these shows. The next time period we're going to be looking at is melodrama, and this is the primary form of theater during the 19th century. And as it is in today's soap operas, music began to be used more often. The music was used to increase emotions or signify characters as they are in soap operas today. And the second to last time period we're going to be looking at is realism. It was the later half of the 19th century, and technological advances helped during this time period. Some playwrights during this time is Henrik Ibsen, who is the playwright of Ghosts, and Alexandre Dumas Fils, who is the playwright for Camille. The last time period we're going to be talking about today is postmodern drama. This is the mid-20th century time period, and the most important part of postmodern drama is that it raises more questions than giving answers. So these playwrights decided, instead of just making it a story that there's one way to think about it, they make it as letting the audience interpret the show themselves. This way, my opinion is not the same as the person sitting right next to me. I really like this type of drama because I can interpret it on my own and see things in a different light than everyone else, and no one's opinion or interpretation is incorrect. Some playwrights during this time are Ozono and Heiner Muller, and Heiner Muller is the playwright of Hamlet Machine. And these are my citations that I used in order to create this PowerPoint. And thank you for listening to my presentation of the history of theater. Hope you learned some information that can help you in the future.